It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
I told Bo in pre-show planning, we got to make sure we move on this one because this list got longer than I thought it would. This is just common paperwork mistakes. And, and the first one just seems so obvious, but I see it. You go do a great estate plan, and then you keep it a secret.
Oh, yeah.
You put it in a safety deposit box, and nobody knows how to get to it. So you either pass away or you get sick, and your healthcare directives, your proxies, they're all hidden away. Nobody knows what your desires are because you did the estate documents and then hid it.
You didn't tell
That's
anybody.
a paperwork mistake because you didn't let people know what's going on.
And one of the things we see and unfortunately we have a number of clients whose parents have passed away, or maybe the parent, actually this never happens with our clients, but this is with their parents. They'll pass away and they'll find 3 or 4 different wills, last will and testaments. And now, fortunately, attorneys have gotten really good about dating every page, so you know what pages go with what. But that's a problem. If you have this document, let someone know where it is and where it's supposed to be so they can find it.
Real quick, I want to share, because I know we have to get through these. Healthcare directives. My father-in-law, who's deceased, it was unfortunate because he was in great health. He was in his early 80s, played golf once a week, went and had just a basic shoulder surgery. Complication from the surgery got pneumonia, and unfortunately started having a lot of issues. This was just an elective procedure that went really bad. My mother-in-law, sweet mother-in-law, was having so much trouble knowing what to do and what not to do to respect Jim. Because I will tell you, I realized very quickly with my father-in-law, medical science can keep us alive when we're not really here anymore. We have now reached the point that they can feed you, they can breathe for you. So essentially, your body can just keep running. And she was truly distressed on what to do because she loved this man so much. Fortunately, I kid you not, it was almost like it was forgotten, and then she realized where the healthcare directives were and the living, and it actually Jim had listed what he did and did not want
to have happen.
And just having that direction gives her so much peace of mind. So it's not only are your wishes followed, but I will tell you, your loved one that is left here on this planet after you leave is going to have much more peace of mind versus when you get in that gray zone with healthcare of what you actually wanted to have. So please do not pay attention to the healthcare directives.
And I'm just going to throw one other thing in there because it was talking about keeping it a secret. If there are people in your estate documents that you are asking to do things, like serve as the executor, like serve
trustee,
as the guardian, like serve as a trustee, make sure they know about that. No one really wants that to be a surprise. Yeah. Congratulations. Your family
You're
just doubled.
You're going to see what number 7 is in a minute and know why surprise is not always good. I want to keep these going though real quick. Not recording step-ups and basis. If you have a loved one pass away and they are sitting on property that one day is going to be the biggest shopping center in the state, or is going to be a great development site, or is going to be a residential development, when people pass away with highly appreciated holdings, go get an appraisal. I am shocked that 7 years goes by. People then put the real estate under contract. And you're like, well, what's the basis in this? Well, I got it when I inherited it from my parent. Did you go get an appraisal? No, we didn't go get an appraisal. I'm like, well, man, we're going to have some trouble figuring out how much this is tax-free.
That's right.
When all you had to do was go get an appraisal at death. So that's a paperwork mistake. Go get a real estate appraisal. It's cheap. It's $300 or $400 typically. And you will put a line in the sand on what things are worth.
Now, with investment accounts, it's a little bit easier because they're priced daily if you're investing in normal stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. But we see this all the time where maybe the step up doesn't happen when the account transfers, and then the account transfers to somewhere else, and then it never actually gets recorded. Well, there's a bunch of tax benefit that just washed away into nowhere. Make sure that you're getting those numbers updated as you work through settling someone's estate.
Outdated beneficiary designations.
Oh yeah.
This is bad stuff. Is that you could have a mistake on there. You could have an ex-wife on there, a spouse. You could have somebody who's already predeceased. Right. That they died earlier than you thought they would.
Or maybe we see this all the time. The difference in per capita and per stirpes.
Exactly.
You might have left something.
Are you psychic? Because we didn't even have that in the show notes, and I wrote it on there.
Oh, look right here. Look, yeah, we just did that right there. Yeah, right. So you might want to leave something to your kids. Well, then some grandkids come to the picture. Well, your wishes amongst how your assets flow might change once the grandbabies enter into the picture. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping that stuff updated. good.
We had talked about not updating asset ownership. This is one of the things when we did our estate plans, same estate attorney, Bo. Please understand, joint tenants with rights of survivorship, like I said, that's going to transfer. All you need is a death certificate versus joint tenants in common. The TIC then makes it where at least you can now separate out the ownership interest and let that estate plan do a little more of the heavy lifting for you. Not updating your healthcare power of attorney or durable power of attorney, because those things need to be updated and active at all times. Not creating a net worth statement. There is nothing worse than grandma passes away and everybody looks at each other and they call like the children will have a financial advisor. The adult children will have a financial advisor. Mom passes away, and then they're like, they call me up and they're like, what do we do? And I'm like, well, do you have a net worth statement so I can at least see what they have in assets? And they're like, nope. I'm like, how about a tax return? Let's start with a tax return and I can at least back into what they have. Have a net worth statement so you're at least everybody knows what you have going on. Bo, you'd mentioned this one. Keeping utilities in a deceased loved one's name?
Yeah, so I see this a lot of times with some aged clients or aged family and friends. The utility bill might have been in the husband's name for the last 40 years, and then the husband passes away, and so they just keep paying it. Well, the utility company doesn't reach out and say, hey, is this person still alive? You just need to make sure that you update who is on record for those types of services, because so long as you're paying them, generally speaking, they'll keep letting you pay them.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you pass away, part of the probate process is that they're going to publish in the paper for creditors to reach out, and if nobody reaches out, the debt kind of just goes away. Right. So if you've got credit cards and debts with deceased people, please make sure that you talk to somebody to make sure that we get rid of the things. You can shed the things and not have obligations that you shouldn't have. That's all paperwork related. You just got to do it right with your estate planning.